Here we go then, at stage 2 of the Tour de Zwift, back in France, Hell of the North. Look at that map on the right hand side. It's all about that last disgusting, brutal hill. And what a start we had here. There was nobody, there were a few comments before at the start, and the people saying, "Oh, I'm going to go easy, take our time." This was a brutal start for the first 2 miles. You're going to see that in a minute. Look at the pack splitting. I mean, these are riders of very similar competency and ability, and I'm standing up doing 450 watts just to keep in the draft. Somebody's gone right off the front there, and respect that. This made it really exciting. I was expecting it was a classic Hell of the North. Nobody does anything. You know, you have an 11.5 miles of flat drafting. It'd be amazing if one person attacks, but no, this was quick. So we got a third of a mile, and I'm averaging 287. It did slow down slightly here. Just as we take that little tiny climb on. Looking at the map, you've got quite a few power-ups. Look, we've dropped riders. We dropped them from the start. There's actually a group being dropped there. I'm not sure how many out of the 48 riders are still in that front pack. Somebody's desperately trying to get onto the back. But we're still pushing it. Look, 270 watts, 247 watts. Fantastic, and respect to those out front going for it. I don't know whether there were a few friends with a few team orders here to push early, but it was not easy. We're just going up these two tiny little bumps, as you can see, 2%ers. Then we've got the wiggly roads, classic France, classic Hell of the North, but really exciting start. I'm reckoning we're down to 30. Perhaps worst case 35 riders already. It wasn't easy. We've done 0.8 of a mile, 0.9 there, 11.6 miles to go, whipping around these corners. And look, the pack is still split. Nobody's going to be dropped, I don't think, because we're on a little descent, got a little incline here, but it's nothing. But I think there are some riders struggling. Look, it's coming together a bit now as we whip round these corners. But it was exciting, and that's what this is all about. So, but it's still, end of the day, it's all about that final climb. I think it's about 800 feet, this particular race, over the 12.5 miles. And I'm reckoning it's 1.5, perhaps 1.8 miles. Look, there's two gone off there again. I mean, this is ridiculous. 1.2 miles in, I'm averaging 281 watts. Well, I was there. And there's still two attacking. Yeah, taking the old taking the old hoodie off there. Can't not concentrate here. It's steam on the head. It's nice and cold in the UK. Lunchtime on a Friday afternoon. Fantastic. So just hanging in there. We've got a stable pack now. And it is gently slowing down a little. I've just, with momentum, gone through to the front there. Try not to repeat that too often. I need to be drafting, save my energy. Almost 200 calories done. Just pushing up this climb. Don't want to get or let anybody get away. But yeah, much more exciting start for the first 2 miles than we've had on this course in previous races in the outer series, I think. Lots of power-ups here. I suspect they are draft power-ups for people to have a go at attacking. That's a good thing for Zwift to do because it encourages people to not just flag along on the flat and just sit in the draft. It encourages attacks and a bit of tactics. especially for those that aren't the climbers. I suspect the attackers are trying to sap the energy of those climbers. So by the time they get to that climb, they've been working pretty damn hard for 11 miles. The average is coming right down now, 256, there we go. Slowed right down, 2.2, and to be honest, I was happy about that. I was caught off guard there. A lot of fun though. So respect to those riders up top, doing some serious work there. What have we got now? Just over 10 miles to go. Nice bunch. I reckon there's 30 riders in this bunch. Dropped 18 already. That was how frantic that start was. I think, look, if you haven't warmed up and there's a frantic start like that and it's fast and furious, you're going to get dropped from the start. Or if you're not really up for it, you thought, especially on this route, if you expected you were just going to have a pedal along and a warm up for the first on the flat, well, you got another thing coming. This race was a bit different to that. Fortunately, I was on it. I had a good 15 minutes warm up. We're all good. 228 calories, 2.7 miles gone, just under 150 feet climb. There we go. 6.5 minutes just elapsed. And so 650 feet to go. Someone's just gone off the front there again. But when it's a single rider, there's not too much to worry about because we've got a whole pack to chase. I can't remember this bit, but I obviously took to cover off this attack myself and to bring the pack along. That's an enjoyable thing to do. I'm not going to waste too much energy, but get a bit of respect from the pack. Make sure the Japanese rider knows they're still doing over 4 watts a kilo. Make sure they know, we're not just going to let them get away. And that's an exciting thing. They're still pushing and the groups still haven't caught up to me. Looks like we've dropped another rider potentially. There we go, the Swede. Thank you, Andreen. You've come through, put the pressure on, and as you're going to see in a minute or so, yeah, the pack are coming up behind me, and we just absorbed that front rider. But a great effort just to try and pull away, and I guess they were tempting and teasing the pack. Probably deserve a rest for that. Excuse me. Onto the cobbles. Few ups and downs coming up here on this route. 9 miles to go, 3.5 miles elapsed, just over 8.5 minutes completed. And this route is full of these little bumps, these little 10-20 feet climbs. And to be fair, it would be a bit of a nightmare if that final climb was in the region of 700 to 800 feet on its own. That would be an absolute nightmare. That'd be a serious climb, like going up the 3/4 of the grade actually. Just come through here, little push through to the barrier. I guess we're going to get a power up here. And there we are, we're nice and comfortable here. It's all about that climb. And with all of these climbs, it's about keeping the power on, not just for the first half, first 3/4, but consistently through. That's where you've got to really be on your game and you've got to want it. I think all of these riders, someone's gone off there, the Englishman there, Waller, all of these riders are capable of winning on that climb, but it's who wants it on the day. I mean, for me, it's can I keep 320 watts on the yellow? Can I stand up on every orange in spite of its distance? Can I get back on the yellow, keep retaining 320 watts? Can I get up off the saddle when I don't fancy it, when I've done 3/4 of that climb, just to get round the final bends? And it's all about that, how much you want it, how you're feeling. It's all in the mind. Sometimes the legs just give up. I really struggle transitioning from standing up to sitting down, because the differential between the power I'm putting out standing up and when I'm seated is considerable. There's a huge difference. For those riders where the differential is the gap is closed, it's much easier to transition from standing up to sitting down. But I find it very difficult, so it's a challenge, and therefore again it's all in the head. It's all psychological, that last bit. Andreen pushing it, fair play. 246 average, that's more realistic. But look, we're pushing over 250 here, or I am, which is not hanging about. I've got a good draft on there, but I'm having to concentrate and push it. Group are very tight now. I don't think anybody's going to let anybody get away like they did before. I think those days are gone. This is too far out to do an attack, 7.7 miles, especially with that climb. That comment there, bought a new kicker, lost 30 watts on his base. I mean, yeah, that happened to me. It's more like 50 watts. So we're right in the pack here, 7.5, just under to go. Some good drafting, just done 5 miles. I'm just standing there just to get the legs relieved, stretch those hamstrings. Right, let's push this on, because nothing really happened. We defaulted to type on Hell of the North here, and you can see on the top left, look at it ticking down gently to low 230s on the average, which is piddling along for me. It really is. Nothing's happened. Look, no one's attacking. Let's get it down to about just over 3 miles. The group top right, you can see, yeah, there's a bit of distance. Someone's gone off there. Right. They've taken the feather, off they go. They've activated it, knowing there's a power up coming. Is that the Frenchman? Someone's going to have to close that down, because we're 3.2 miles. My tactic, I'm going to start the climb in the front group, because I'm telling you, psychologically, if I'm not in the front 5 starting the climb, I'm done. This rider is pushing it now, gone for a serious attack, and there's nobody reacting. Well, we are reacting, but there's no one closing it down. There's no one covering it. Fantastic attack there. They're obviously going for it. 3 miles to go. Someone's trying to close it down there. You can see the riders. Look, we're having to push now. Not too much, actually. But you can see we're just splitting. 2 riders have gone after that front rider. I've added the drafting boost, because I don't want to blow all my matches before this climb. The group will be thinking exactly the same. Look, it's splitting here at the front. One's gone off right into the distance, and then we're all fighting for ourselves, I think. It's every man for themselves. Fair play, Waller there, and Mercant. Quadrado, the Frenchman. Respect, taking a 3-second lead. You've absolutely blown the pack wide open on the flat with 2.5 to go. Albeit there's a blooming big climb coming up. It'd be interesting to see where Quadrado finishes there, but there you go. The 2 riders have caught the Frenchman, and the pack will catch those 3 riders any minute. I'm just drafting here. They can do a bit of work now, covering that off. Come to the banner Everybody's hoping, I'm guessing, for the feather. There we go, through the banner. 3 riders still up top. Bit dangerous this, unless we close them down. I'm just going to pull them in, which will also pull the pack behind me. I don't want anyone going off and starting that climb without me. Well, that's 2 places gone. There we go. Reined them right in. Just stand up, flex those hamstrings. 2.2 to go. I'm reckoning there's 1.7 on the climb. That'd be my guess retrospectively here. Got the feather, great. Done 430 feet. So probably 350 perhaps. 400. Yeah, 350, I reckon. Just under 25 minutes, 2 miles to go. The 10 kilogram protocol, Mika's saying. Or the minus 10 kilogram protocol, whatever he means there. At 1.9 to go, you can see we're just going to have a little dip here. And then you turn around the corner and you start in this climb. It will be yellow. And then there's intermittent oranges. So you're under 4% and then intermittent 5, 6, 7, 8% right to the top. And then I think there's a little flat section around a corner to finish. Perhaps 100 yards. So I'm at the front, well positioned here. What's the pace going to be to start? It is 1.7 miles to the finish. Get to my 320, usual. But can I sustain it? I don't want to go over the 320 if I don't need to, because it's sustaining that power in the seat. That's the key. You've got the feather, forget that for the moment. Not going to blow that. That Merson looks to be very comfortable doing 5 watts a kilo. Reinhardt over 5 watts a kilo, same with the Japanese rider. I'm not going to let him go here. Not bothered about the rest of the pack. 1.5 miles to go. These 3 riders are stretching everybody. Look at the graphic top right. I'm doing too many watts here, but I'm having to stay with them. Otherwise, there's your podium gone, and I'm 5th already. I'm not going to have that at the start of this climb. Looks like some of the others in that pack are they're going to be dropped. If you are 40 metres behind, 50 metres behind, I don't know how you're going to get back towards the end, especially with the gradient on this. 1.2 miles to go. Waller's coming through. That's good. So the front group, I'm in the front group. I need to stay with the front group. Stand up there. This is the bit, the difficult bit. Can you see how they're just pulling away from me? I don't have it sat down. I'm struggling to get to 300 watts there. So I'm going to have to stand up here on the yellow to rein them back in. That's terrible loss of energy because I've got to be stood up on this orange to keep up with these. Good thing is I'm in the front group. What are there? 5 riders. And myself. I'm in a great position here. That is blown the pack apart. These riders have blown that pack apart. I mean, everybody's all over the place. Look, 6.6% on the orange. I must be stood up. So I need to find a comfortable way of continually standing up. They're gently pulling away. I'm getting some draft, albeit at 15 miles an hour. 0.9 to go. We're pulling away from the other pack, which are 3-4 seconds behind in the second group, but I can't get dropped. If I can stay with this pack, I'm going to finish in the top 6, guaranteed. So I've pulled up to them here, but we're on the yellow. Again, transition. I'm struggling like mad there. I've put too much into the standing up, and you can see them dropping me here. I'm going to have to stand up again on the yellow, just to keep in. They're slowing down slightly. I'm with the 5th place here. Right, stand up. Get into that pack. It's exciting watching this bike. There we go. I'm all over the bloody road because I'm not looking. I'm touching that steering mechanism. But I've got into the bike. But this is when they're accelerating. I'm doing well here. I'm doing well. Look at that. Look at the green on the graphic. Blown apart. 4 groups of riders. Definitely a top 20 finish here, which, if you know my objectives, every damn race ZRS increase by at least +1, net +1. Stand, stand, stand. See, they're standing up, I'm guessing there as well. They've dropped me, but I'm still hanging in there. Half a mile to go. Get round this corner. Right. I shouldn't have been sat down that. I can't help it. Legs are gone. Japanese rider come blasting past at a ridiculous speed. Where's he got that pace from? That was ridiculous. Strut there, the Brit riding with me here up to this castle or chateau. Just pulled ahead. I'm in 8th. Going to get a top 20 finish. 0.4 of a mile. Tell me why I didn't use the feather there. I tell you why, because I'm pushing so damn hard, it's hurting and I'm forgetting. Try my best. Absolutely try my best, and that's what you got to give. Got to give everything. Here we still on the yellow. I've got to stand up on this orange. I need to rein people in. There, stand up. Come on. It's almost flat, and I'm stood up. You can see the finish there. 0.2 of a mile. Stood up again. I'm really proud watching this back. I put a big effort into this. Stood up, keep standing up. Did I use the feather? 16 seconds ahead. The first or second place. That's gone now. How've they come blasting past? 11th, 12th. Keep in there, keep in there. Still not used my feather. Stupid. My fault, but I'm standing up. He's come through with a feather, but look, I finished 13th there, I think, just ahead of the German. Yes, I did it. Look back on the reverse camera here. Yeah, way ahead of those two. I'm really chuffed with that. 248 average, that's nothing special, but we're on the flat for so long. I was knackered. I'd given a lot on that climb. I really did. Not good enough though, not good enough for a top 10, but really chuffed with the effort I put out. You can see there, 496 racing score. It's gone up +2. That's the aim. I think it goes up +4 in the end. But if you liked, like it and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.